Welcome, friends, to Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter. We bring you the greatest female voices in the music industry, from the artists, songwriters, and producers, to managers and executives, and all the women who make the music industry what it is today. Thank you for joining us.
In Florida and the UK, all just between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. So that's just how it works down here.
There you go. I have to say, I'm not actually in the UK. I'm from the UK,
Oh,
but I live in Spain. So we have amazing summers, but freezing cold winters.
oh.
And yes, in the winter, you wake up, it's cold, then you can get warm, then you can have rain or whatever, and then, something else. It's great fun.
It sounds like I'd feel right at home in Spain then. I obviously should think about that.
It'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So, to start off this amazing interview, the most important question ever. Who is Allie Jean?
I always struggle with this question. I mean, how do you sum up yourself in a few succinct lines? And I mean, maybe that tells you what you need to know about me, that I can't do that. Look, in essence, I'm a country girl. I have always listened to music, always been involved in music. I can't remember a time when it wasn't part of my life. Grew up on my grandparents' farm in northeast Victoria, which will mean nothing to our international listeners, I'm sure. But then moved to the big bad city at 16 to continue school, which I think is pretty common for a lot of us. And have been in Melbourne since then, and music has woven in and out of my life, and I love listening to it and playing it and talking about it. So that's probably me in a nutshell, I think.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
That's very cool.
Oh. Well, we know that you've just recently had a release, Gasoline on Fire. So tell me all about that song. Like, where did the idea come from? And obviously, in the song we kind of gather that, but like from your opinion.
Yeah, so interestingly, Gasoline on Fire was the last track that we wrote for the album and ended up becoming the debut single. So sometimes things just work out in a funny way. And what I love about this song is it's not based on one experience or one moment. It's kind of like an accumulation of experiences. And as you can hear on the track, it's kind of all about pushing back and not going quietly. And when I've been in interviews before, people have said to me, oh, do you find it really easy to push back? And I've had to be honest and say, actually, no. It's actually a really difficult thing to do, I think, particularly as a woman, to hold your ground and to own your space. And so this song's really supposed to be about either the times that you did that or the times that you wished you had. And I think it's a message that resonates with a lot of people, and it certainly really resonates with me. So that's really where the track came from.
Perfect.
I love it. I was jamming along today working, so great song.
Definitely. So I was going to say, tell us about the video. Where was it filmed? Where did you get the idea from?
So the video, we ended up, because as I said, it was about this idea of pushing back, and we thought, oh, well, we can do something about that, or we can look all around the world and see examples of people doing that, and people protesting and people putting themselves out there for something that they believe in. And so that's what we ended up doing. We ended up saying, there's bigger and better examples of that than what we can possibly film with, a couple of people in a camera. And so we really tried to draw on source material globally to really try and represent that picture. And what we tried to do was create, I guess, a visual accompaniment to the song. So you kind of got the vibe of the song and you had visuals that matched up with that. And so we were lucky enough to know a couple of people who had footage and filmmakers, and they sent us in all this source content, really, and it got cut together to sort of fit in with the song. So that's how we did it, and that was the idea.
And it's a great way of doing it, because obviously you hear the words of the song, but seeing those visually, people doing what you're saying and everything else is absolutely amazing. So yeah, great job. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Perfect.
So tell me, what is your normal writing process? Are you the type that you just write every day, or are you just I have to wait for inspiration?
Yeah, it's really interesting. So 10-track album. And I reckon each one of the tracks has come about in a slightly different way. So I'm really lucky to work with a co-writer. And he's very talented and comes from quite a different musical background to me. And so I think we've got to this place of real honesty where there's quite a lot of dialogue back and forth, and he'll come up with something and I won't like it, or I'll come up with something. He's like, oh, it's a little bit obvious. And so you get through all the hurt feelings to the point where it's just like that really honest dialogue about the music, about the art. And I think that's where we've landed. And so like Gasoline on Fire, it started with the guitar riff, right? At the start, that's actually what came from the song. After that, we actually wrote the chorus, and from that we found the verses, but it hasn't been that process for each of the tracks. And so sometimes you start with an idea, sometimes you start with a musical idea, and each song has come about quite differently. So I'd love to give you a succinct answer as to how I write, but I really can't. It depends on the track and the day and the moment, really.
Depends on how you feel.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one thing with co-writing I found out is it's like being almost in like a marriage or in a family, and that's I think the best way to you have to have pure honesty. Like you can say or like he's not that it's too obvious. Like to be able to tell someone that and understand that, okay, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm trying to make it the best that we can, and that's sometimes the hardest thing in a co-writer or working together with people if you don't know them well enough.
And I think, this idea that it's about the music, it's not actually about your relationships or your feeling or your ego. And I think if you can get to that place, then that's like really refreshing and it feels really productive. But it takes work to get there, right? Yeah. Anyway, interesting.
That's perfect. That's perfect. So tell us about some of the women that have inspired you in your life.
Oh, look, I think there are so many. There's ones that I know directly and there's ones that I've admired from afar. Like I think when you look at country music, the amazing thing is you go right back to people like June Carter and you see these legendary women coming through at all stages of the development of country music. And then you fast forward to people like Gillian Welch, who I'm a massive fan of, because I think she just has this, she doesn't compromise her standards, and it might be 10 years between albums, but that's because nothing's been good enough. And there's a quiet grit in that, which I really love. And then, it's just some more outspoken artists like, the Chicks and Miranda Lambert and that sort of more country rock vibe, which I'm really into. I think, personally, I'm really lucky that in my family there's some pretty amazing women, my mum and my grandma particularly, and they've always been really strong in what they wanted to do, and they've never been without an opinion. And I think, being a quieter personality, it's really inspiring to have that around you. And so I try and channel different people in my life when I'm trying to convey a certain thing. So certainly have not been without inspiration.
Perfect. It's always good to have strong women around you to, to help drive you forward and everything. So.
Yeah,
absolutely. And women should always lift up other women regardless. I mean, yeah.
Absolutely. And, we don't always, right? So it's not something you should take for granted.
Absolutely.
Definitely not. People like to pit women against people against people. And instead we should be helping each other and, pushing their way forward and everything. So,
yeah, for sure.
We need to do.
Absolutely. Everyone's like, there's not enough in society. I'm like, there's enough room for everyone. You just, everyone there's room. I'm sorry, but,
Yeah. But humans have always been and probably always will be our own worst enemies, which is probably why the robots are going to replace us all eventually. But I think we love to divide along whatever lines we can, and it's always limiting, right? So.
Definitely. I mean, we're always going to be.
Yeah. I was saying, the robots and animals.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to be taken over by robots and animals. That's what, yeah.
Yep.
That's what's happening. Well, come on. I have to tell you this. The last 2 Chinese restaurants I've been to over here, they've actually had robot waiters. Now, how awesome is that? I mean, it's very, very cool. But, that's very simple. But you can see them, they come around, take your food, and bring your food. It's very, very cool. But, yeah, they're slowly moving in.
You see, I think the thing about Australia is we're about 20 years behind everyone else. So we're still getting excited by the internet, and then we hear people in other countries doing these amazing things. So I'm just going to have to take your word for it at the moment, because we're probably a long way off that.
I thought we were behind in Spain, but then when, as I said, I've seen this a couple of times, and I'm like, wow, that's quite cool. But I bet if you go to the States, it'd be even further ahead than we are.
Yeah.
It depends on where you are too, because some areas are just more
Of course.
technology advanced, and there's some areas that like you go and like you were saying 20 years behind, right? You go off the rural grid over in Montana or somewhere that's, like off the grid more or less. And they don't, most of them don't even have like actual, well, they'll have electricity, but they'll build it all without, electric power lines and things like that. And it's amazing to see it. But I'm like, that's great for a weekend for me, but I'm just not at that level anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, we have our moments over here, but yeah, it's strange, isn't it? You look at each country and how how different things are. So,
Yeah, especially Australia. They have very big spiders.
Oh, it's horrendous. Honestly, it's just like the spiders and the snakes. Like, I don't know what they were thinking. It's just horrific. I'm very, very scared of spiders.
A big island on their own where they can just do what they want to do and just leave us humans alone, because
Yeah.
spiders not so much, but the snakes.
The little ones are okay. Like when they get like bigger than like the size of my hand is too big, right? Like that's me.
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
the big
small
hairy
ones,
ones
okay.
that scare me. The other ones I'm fine with. But like your huntsman spider types, I find them terrible. Like I find them
But
very
aren't they
scary.
killer? Can't they kill you, huntsman spiders?
No, I actually think they're non-venomous, but that's not the point. The point is that they're really scary.
But if you're allergic to bees, technically most spiders have the same venom as bees. So if you have that the specific allergen, right?
The anaphylaxis thing.
Yeah. So you could go into anaphylaxis. Or I mean, if I have a bee allergy, but not anaphylaxis area. Like I just swell like a balloon so far. Thank God, knock on wood. Never want to not be able to breathe. And so yeah, I think that's my fear on the spiders, is that it's going to bite me and I'm going to swell like I do with the bees. That might be my subconscious why I don't like them.
See, I think like one of my biggest bonding things with my dad, bless his little cotton socks, is, as I said, I'm terrified of huntsman spiders, and where we lived in the country, there were a lot, and I literally couldn't be in the room with them. So the amount of times my dad has got up on a chair or a ladder and like put the spider in a glass and put the paper underneath and taken it outside, it's such like a gesture of caring for which I am eternally grateful. And of course, he's not scared of them, so he just thinks I'm being massively melodramatic, but he still does it, which I love. Anyway, I digress.
It's okay. It's okay. That's a part of crazy here that we enjoy, is getting to know you.
Okay. Good.
And then I'll be the one running around with one of those little Nerf dart guns, like, try and chase the spider and, shoot it with a Nerf dart, which will never happen because that's my accuracy, right? Like I can't even hit anything. So yeah, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Now that is a video I think we need to see.
I agree.
Trying to chase the spider.
Yeah.
I do chase the cat that's here, because he'll be silly and I'll just run around and chase him, and then I'll shoot the dart and he'll go chase the dart like, oh, my dart. It's funny.
Oh, cool.
See, I told you I need to get out more.
No animals were hurt in the making of this video.
Yeah.
We better make that clear.
Yes.
I'm gonna have like some spider activists like at my front door.
Yeah, can you imagine it?
Look, there it is. Why don't you just pick it up and take it out? Thank you.
Yeah, you have
because that one there is the little tiny one, but that one's venomous. Good luck. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
All right. So now that we've been having so much crazy fun, would you like to do our 13 crazy questions?
Yes, I would love to.
Wonderful.
I love this.
There's no rhyme or reason to them, and thus far we have not gotten arrested, as you can tell, because we're still doing the podcast. So good. That's a good plus. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep.
Okay. First question. What is your favorite type of transport?
Look, the Sydney ferries are just really cool. They're pretty and like on the ocean. And so, yeah, a ferry. If I could ferry my way through life on the ocean, I'd do that.
That'd be awesome. That'd be very cool. I love that.
Yeah. Finish this line. Today, my favorite song is
Kerosene, Miranda Lambert.
Very cool. I love that.
Good choice for the day, yeah.
What is your favorite sporting event?
Oh, the AFL Grand Final. I'm a true Aussie in that. Space can't get past it. So the Australian rules football grand final.
Yeah. Yeah, but that seems mad. That's a crazy sport. They just seem to do anything.
Oh, it's totally mental, but it's great to watch.
It is mad, I have to say, yeah.
Oh, if you ever wrote a book, what genre would it be?
Now do a biography.
That'd be cool. A biography.
Yeah.
Okay. If your life was a reality show, what would it be called?
How to fit more hours in the day.
That would be cool. How to fit more hours in the day. Yeah, I think
I'm
we all
definitely
need that.
liking your reality show. I am in.
Yeah, we're with that one. He's picking that one out as well.
Tell us something on your bucket list.
Well, my brother and his wife are currently living in Hawaii for work, and I would love to go and visit them and spend some time there while they're over there.
Can I come with you? I'll be your, baggage
please.
handler person.
The more the merrier. Yeah.
Let's all go. Hawaii, here we come.
Yeah. We all need to
just so you know, I'll be like working at like 2 a.m. I'll be like, hi, I have to work till like 10 a.m. and then I'm gonna go to sleep. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What emoji do you use the most?
The little face with the hearts. Pretty much everything I use, I do that. I think when I message you guys about getting the link, that's what I use. So that's like my default. I appreciate you, thank you emoji. I don't know if that's what it's supposed to be, but that's what I use it for.
It's very cool. I love that emoji.
Tell us, what is your game plan for the zombie apocalypse?
Trust the right people. Try and befriend the zombies. And if all else fails, have really, really solid walls.
That is cool. I love that. Very solid walls. That's good one. Okay. Which app on your phone do you use the most?
I don't tend to use apps that much. I'm just trying to think. Look, I'm going to be really boring and say the banking app.
That's cool. That's cool.
Oh, actually, no, that's a lie. Spotify, obviously. I forget that that's an app. So that, which is like running constantly. So Spotify.
We'll move away from that.
Yeah. We can absolutely relate to that. That's usually probably my number one too, is a music app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when it's sort of there permanently, you kind of forget about it, which is why I didn't think of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, because I was thinking the same thing when she asked that question. Like, what app would I use a lot? I'm like, yeah. But then you said that, I'm like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I love that.
There you go.
So hypothetically, if I called you and said, Allie, I have to hide a dead body, do you know a good place?
Oh, look, I think the great thing about Australia having lots of land and not many people is that unfortunately there's probably lots of good places. So, I mean, I don't know any personally, but I reckon I could give you a roadmap and say, try there.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
I love that. Okay. If you owned a bar, what would you call it?
Would alley cats be too obvious?
No, that'd be cool. Alley cats is
that.
a great name for a bar. It's a great name for a bar.
Absolutely. If we made a movie about your life, who would you want to play you?
Oh, that's such a good question. I'm thinking not because she looks like me, but just because I like her style. What was the name of the girl who was in Mean Girls? She was like the main character. Not Lindsay Lohan, the other one. She's gone on to do other stuff. She's quite good.
Oh,
I know who you mean. I'm losing the name.
It's Rachel someone.
I want to say Rachel McAdams. I was going to say Rachel McAdams, but it's not her. Mean Girls.
Or isn't it? Maybe it is her.
Maybe it is. Maybe I've just... Come on, phone works. Sometimes said to have been asked. Lindsay Lohan. Oh yeah, Rachel McAdams. Look at that. I hadn't even seen the film, but as soon as Rachel I knew.
Yep. I like how she does it. So her.
She's very cool. I like her as well. Cool. Okay, last question. If you were an animal, what would you be?
Well, I own a blue heeler dog, and I don't know if you guys know much about blue heelers, but they have the most attitude of like any animal on the planet, and they have this like fierceness, not in terms of like aggression, just in terms of like how they love life, that I've always really admired. So I think I'd be a blue heeler. That would be my aspirational animal.
A blue heeler. I gotta look this up now.
Yes,
Are they actually blue?
Yeah. They have black and white hairs intermixed, but it kind of creates a blue-grey effect.
Oh, wow.
They're also
kind of
called
like the
cattle
brindle,
dogs.
right? Like some of them have some brindle
giant cattle
coloring.
dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It says on here, it calls them an Australian cattle dog.
That's the one.
That's what's come up with. Oh, look at them. They're gorgeous.
They're beautiful. In fact, that they're kind of coats. They have some chihuahuas with that kind of a coat. The color, I forget, there's a specific name for it. I can't remember it either. But it's like the brindle, right? And it's just so cool. Those coats, the way the coats are. Yeah.
And they're also just so full of attitude. Like, I just love it. Yeah.
They're a sassy dog. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, they're gorgeous. They are really gorgeous. I want one now.
You should. Best life decision. So good.
And for Christmas, you're adopting a new dog. Does Dad know?
Yeah, don't tell no one. It'll be a little secret. Okay. Sneak it in the house. Maybe I know any difference.
Yeah, just tell me you're like, hey, I'm dog sitting.
Yeah.
Forever.
Forever. The owner doesn't come back. Whoops. What can I say? I have to stay with her.
Yeah.
That's a great idea, actually. That's a great idea. Make sure no one sees his video first.
We'll cut this part out. We'll just be like,
yeah,
we have no clue what happened there. It just disappeared. I don't know.
Yeah.
Apparently, my editing skills really suck as I've gotten older. I don't know.
Something like that. Oh, that's funny. I love it.
So, tell us what you have going on for 2024.
Yeah, so 2024 is going to be an exciting year for me musically. So we'll release the second single probably about March, which will be cool. And then we'll probably release a couple more and look to drop the album in the back half of 2024. And our band's on hiatus a bit at the moment, obviously being, nearly Christmas and all those sort of things. People are here, there and everywhere. But we're going to start to line up some gigs going forward in 2024, both locally and then a bit further abroad. So it's going to be a busy but exciting year.
Awesome. Look forward to that.
That's awesome.
Yes. We always love new music.
Mm-hmm. It's invigorating, right? When you hear something you hadn't heard yesterday.
Yes.
It is definitely.
Definitely.
Sure. And then you get it on autoplay and you just keep listening to it. And you're just, for me, it's usually working away, doing stuff. And I'm like, just enjoying it.
But you appreciate something different each time, I think. And that's what's really cool. Like you can listen to a track you've heard 1,000 times before and you hear a drum beat or a bass riff or something that you've never appreciated. You're like, oh, that's really cool. Like it just keeps giving, I reckon.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. I think that's just music in general, isn't it? Music in general just keeps giving. It's awesome.
Yeah.
That is true. Because when I start to do when you do the music reviews, I mean, I don't know about anyone else that does this, but I'm the type that I just put it on repeat, listen, and I'll start typing, and I'll be like, oh wait, no, I need to go back and write this in there, and I've heard this. This was really cool. It reminded me of X, and yeah, just like that.
It's right, yeah. So, I love that.
It was a pleasure having you on today, and you are welcome back anytime. When some new music comes out, you'll just have to join us next year. And of course, I have to ask, how is life in the future?
Look, to be honest, I reckon you're going to love Wednesday morning. If it was like mine, you get to talk to these really awesome women about music and spiders and all this other things. So, I would say bring it on, guys. You're going to love it.
Awesome. Roll on Wednesday. Oh, my God.
Yep. Looking forward to Wednesday now.
Oh, yeah. I'm still not quite there. I've still got 40 minutes or so, and then I'll be there. I'll be there with you. That's awesome. I love it.
All these future people. But you are welcome back anytime.
Thank you so much. I would love to be back anytime, and I really appreciate the time and the fun we've had today. So thank you.
No worries.
Absolutely. And thank you, friends, for joining us for another episode. We'll see you next time.
Adios.
If you enjoyed today's episode of Crazy Women Country, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Be sure to click the subscribe button for new interviews weekly. And thank you, friends, for joining us today on Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter.